Tonight on Denver 7 News at 6.
Good to see everybody. Hello.
The Veep visits.
Help is on the way, and now help is here.
Restaurants glimpse the finish line.
It's not just a light at the end of the tunnel. It's really, really bright, and we're getting towards the end.
Boulder braces for St. Patrick's Day.
The Broncos hold on to the best defensive player ever to wear blue and orange.
And Mike tracks yet another storm.
Another storm with big snows south of Denver. How much snow we can expect tonight.
And good evening, and thanks for watching Denver 7. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. And snow is falling across the Denver area tonight, and a major storm is brewing to our southeast.
La Veta Pass is closed. Las Animas and Baca counties are under a blizzard warning. CDOT says I-25 could be undrivable past Pueblo.
People sometimes will still go out and try to make it from point A to point B, and then they wind up getting stranded, as we saw in some areas during this previous storm.
Well, we know meteorologist Mike Nelson's keeping a close eye on this. And Mike, this is some serious snow and wind we're talking about right now.
It is, but mostly areas to our south. This is what it looked like this afternoon from our camera that's out at City Park. You can see the clouds kind of building throughout the day, and then just late in this picture, the visibility really shrinking down as the storm comes in. It's a decent little snowmaker, but little is the key word for the Denver area. You can see it kind of moving through the metro area. By far the strongest moisture is out to the west of us and down to the south of us. That's where all the warnings are in effect. Winter storm warnings in the pink, blizzard warnings in effect are the orange. And that's going to be some really tough travel by early tomorrow morning. Temperatures are still relatively mild there, but we've dropped down below freezing here. And so the light snow on top of the refreezing of the melted snow earlier is going to cause some slick conditions, even though it's not a major storm. Much bigger storm to the south of us, windy and cold for tomorrow. And then there is lots of melting coming up in the 7-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Mike. We'll see you in just a little bit. Now, time is up to get the sidewalks clear. City of Denver was giving out warnings today. They'd prefer it not come to tickets.
Some people, they'll just shovel a little path, and they think that's sufficient. But we want to let them know exactly what they need to do. We just don't want anyone getting hurt, or somebody, an elderly person walking down the street, or somebody with a disability in a wheelchair or something like that, getting stuck and not able to make it past.
Ignore the warning, you'll pay a $150 fine. Ignore that one, you'll pay another $500. Vice President Kamala Harris was in Colorado today to tout the $1.9 trillion rescue plan.
Harris highlighted the administration's efforts to provide enough vaccine for every adult in the country. She also put a spotlight on a very deserving local business.
Denver 7 political reporter Megan Lopez has a story.
1 minute we have a giant blizzard and we're out shoveling snow. The next, the Secret Service is outside.
It was just a glimpse.
Out here to see the first female vice president and just really excited.
A chance.
We've been reading some books so that we know a little bit about who she is.
To see America's first female vice president in person and maybe get a picture.
She came out and was very gracious. She waved to everyone that was there.
But also a chance for the vice president.
Tomorrow is going to be a year where we have our official close shutdown.
To get a glimpse into how Colorado businesses are handling COVID.
And I still have two that are completely closed. That doesn't make sense to still open. 1 year tomorrow.
Vice President Kamala Harris stopped by Maria Empanada to hear from businesses that have been struggling to stay open for the past year.
And that's absolutely part of the message that I gave, is the necessity, the immediate necessity that we need. I mean, we don't know if we can make it for next month.
All of this part of a nationwide tour by the Biden administration to tout the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, including $28 billion for restaurants.
Our small businesses were devastated by this pandemic. We want to make sure that you can stay open. So these are the things of the American Rescue Plan that were purposely designed to bring relief so that we can get back up and running.
Their bottom line is that help is here. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And the food is good, so we want them to stay open. And we certainly hope the vice president visits again, because we'd love to actually speak with her.
No, Vice President Harris was not made available to most local outlets today. Instead, video was provided to CBS News alone, who then provided it to other networks.
Now, President Biden has been criticized for not holding a formal press conference since taking office. It was announced this afternoon that he will meet with the media later on this month. He's also agreed to sit down with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos for a one-on-one interview, and that airs tomorrow morning on Good Morning America. The vaccines are working. 300 cases of COVID were reported by the state health department today, and transmission has diminished significantly among Coloradans 70 and older.
By this summer, I'm excited that things will be relatively back to normal. Right now, demand still exceeds supply, which is great from our perspective. Not great from yours, because you may take a week or two before you can get an appointment. But we expect that those two lines will intersect at some point, probably in late April, early May.
More than 1.2 million Coloradans have received at least one dose of the vaccine. 755,000 are fully immunized. Governor Polis says appointments canceled over the weekend are now being rescheduled.
Boulder PD and campus police are staffing up ahead of St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, and it probably goes without saying, but the goal here is to prevent another incident like the one we saw earlier this month. The police say there will be undercover officers in the festivities.
5 of 6 runways at DIA are now cleared of snow. The airport says it could get the 6th one open if it needed to, but right now 5 is enough to handle the traffic in and out of Denver. 5 of Colorado's largest school districts are currently without a superintendent.
Denver7 education reporter Nicole Brady explains what's happening behind the scenes to replace them.
There are many reasons why people leave jobs, but 5 Colorado superintendents in less than a year is unusual.
There's no set playbook to reference in these situations, so it becomes that much more daunting for any superintendent to lead.
It started last summer in Jeffco with Jason Glass, followed by Thomas Tucker in Douglas County, Susanna Cordova in Denver, Sandra Smizer in Poudre Schools, and Scott Siegfried, who will leave Cherry Creek Schools at the end of the semester. One superintendent still standing, Rico Munn in Aurora Public Schools.
But I think there's definitely a demonstration of a challenge when you look at the 10 largest districts in the state and 5 of them do not have a permanent superintendent kind of going forward into next year. That's close to 500,000 students. That's billions of dollars of assets where there is no CEO in place. That should be of concern to the entire community.
It's a concern to Edward Quinones with advocacy group A+ Colorado.
I think that these 5 districts are essentially going to be competing against one another for, the best candidates, and I think the bar for superintendents is changing.
Douglas County hired executive search firm Frederick Andrews. Managing partner Tim Demers says while they've encountered candidates who are talking to the other local districts, he doesn't think they're competing.
They're looking for very specific things for Jeffco, looking for very specific things for Cherry Creek, very specific for DPS. And so those specific searches are not necessarily exactly what we're looking for here.
Douglas County, where 89% of students identify as white, has drawn attention lately for a lack of racial diversity and equity. Demers says they've posted the superintendent job on diversity job boards and have directed some marketing efforts toward diverse candidates.
And what we're looking for ultimately is the best person for Douglas County, but we're also looking to make sure the best person is inclusive of everyone.
In Denver Public Schools, Quinones says representation matters. The district is 77% students of color and 37% English language learners.
I think that the community would say that Denver Public Schools needs people of color leading Denver Public Schools.
One thing is certain, 5 new leaders will soon oversee more than 300,000 Colorado kids. There will be huge challenges getting them back on track and restoring normalcy to their lives. The job of the superintendent likely won't get easier.
This is the person that's in charge of changing the trajectory of our children's future, right? And they're going to make decisions that are going to impact our children's future for many, many years.
Now, Jeffco and Douglas County Schools have already finished the application process and should be announcing finalists soon. Ideally, the districts would like to have new leaders in place by August.
You can see, something like probably 30 different mountains over 13,000 feet from the property.
Show me the money. Then show me some more if you want to buy this Telluride home from a certain movie star.
A sports court, dirt bike track, trails, 1 mile driveway that probably would have cost, in today's dollars, probably $4 or $5 million just to build.
The Broncos win by not losing Von Miller in free agency.
And how the restaurant industry is doing 1 year since Denver gave the order to close.
It's felt like 5 years and 2 months at the same time.